we covered part of this yesterday, but we're going to cover a little more of the Dragon Quest thing because, of course, when the creator of Dragon Quest, Yuji Horii, decided that he was going to come out and speak against things like the U.S. Ratings Board or the ESRB, because that's why they had to make the changes in the first place. Of course, people are calling him now a chud and a Yahtzee for questioning the gender ideology that is not only required, but forced upon Japanese creators if they want to do business in the West. It is not the business of an individual to decide what they can and cannot see or do not have the gumption, the guts, the brain power to deal with on their own. No, other people, those who opine to know better, obviously are the ones that should make those decisions for you. Yes, young adults. Yes, everyone in the Western world. You, as far as the ideologists are concerned anyway, you are not smart enough to make your own decisions. At the moment, these things are coming from the no longer classical liberal, the psychotic liberal left. The people who will chant for diversity and inclusion and all sorts of wonderful things and claim that they are the most inclusive bunch ever. But the moment you raise your hand and say, hey, something feels a little off about this. If we want to include other people, yeah, but if you include those people by excluding somebody else, that makes you a sexist or racist or whatever. It makes you the exact same thing that you are literally calling people who are calling you out on their bullshit. But hey, what do I know? Like I always say, I'm just a guy playing a cartoon on the internet. So let's just go down here. We covered or I covered anyway, the little interview they had, not little, but the interview they had where they were talking about they had to change the costume because, well, if they didn't, they would not be able to go on the Western market. And they kind of need to do that to sell in the Western world, which I still think is a bunch of horseshit. That's just me. But let's see here. Since we covered all that, let's go down here to this some of the tweets here. And I would have been much happier if we could actually go to, or if they would have hyperlinked the Twitter for this person. We could actually read it from there. But I also understand why they didn't. That way people would not just click the hyperlink and go on there and give them a bunch of shit. So I am going to take this screen off so my Twitter doesn't get all over the place kind of thing, and we're going to put them in Twitter. And I wonder if they have protected their tweets or not. Now, I'm guessing. Okay, so here we go. Let's put me back up, the thing back up. There we go. So let's go into mine. There we go. Okay, so I'm guessing. Oh, yes, and I'm a big Sydney Sweeney fan for a couple of reasons. Anyway, moving on. So we'll put this Frosted Yuko in here, and there it is right there. And have they gone protected? No, they have not gone protected. Okay. I mean, they have, a whole hell of a lot more fucking followers than I do, so I can't say anything there. I was expecting fully for them to go protected. I am glad to see I was wrong there. That is a good thing. That means that people probably didn't give them a whole bunch too much shit and actually had a decent conversation. But what Yukio here is saying is Yuji Horii Nazi was not on my bingo sheet. Because like I said, for some reason, going against the ideology automatically turns you into a Nazi or chud or whatever. It just happens now. From Kung Fu Man, Yukio, what in the blue blazes are you talking about? How does this make him a Yahtzee or Hitler? There's pretty much welcoming culture war tourists who tend to be Nazis. So he thinks, or she, or whatever, thinks they are talking about, I don't know, people like me, because they think I'm a tourist in the culture. They think that because I wasn't making my voice heard before, that I never liked any of these things. I never liked anime, never liked video games, movies, good TV shows. No, I was never into any of those things. I was never a giant nerd for the last 30, 40 almost years. More, actually. Never spent my life buying comic books at the fucking gas station, which you can't really do anymore, sadly. Hell, you can't even buy a comic book at a comic book store anymore. There's so few of them. But no, in their mind, because you were silent the entire time, and finally when you got pushed far enough is when you decide to speak up, and then you're called a culture tourist, or you're called a Nazi, or a racist, or little Hitlers, or whatever. Let's see, what else he had to say here. From Kung Fu Man, by complaining that the game they made had to be censored, you can't chastise someone because grifters will latch onto a thing. I agree with that. There are some people who are plainly just going to be grifting off this. I obviously am not, because I'm not monetized in any way, shape, or form. I'm literally just giving my opinion. But hey, if you want to make me into a grifter, go right ahead. I say it was censored because of Zero, and it's been consistent over the Type A and Type B body types are censorship. There is male and female. There is man and woman. That's it. There are no other biological choices. And there's no argument really against that. Unless you are one of the very, very, and I'll be the big word, very minute, tiny, infinitesimal, itty bitty part of the human population that happens to be born hermaphrodite. Very teeny tiny amount. Then maybe there's an argument. But even then, there tends to be a more prominent genome that pushes to the forefront and either makes that person present as a male or a female. But moving on. No, they were specifically talking about the designs they had to censor now. Did you watch the video itself? You can turn on subtitles. So obviously they didn't watch the video. Obviously they just took about what somebody else was saying and ran with it. It's the same design they've been using since 2012, only with yellow clothing instead of black. No, I haven't watched the video. I haven't had time. Don't think you can give your opinion on something you can just not have seen. I like to be seen. I like to see things to know if I, have an opinion on it. Because some of my opinions are good and some of them are, horse shit. That's just kind of the way it is, I guess. Let's see here. Let's go back to Yukio here. I want to see. Alt toasted Yukio. So, okay, let me go down. I don't see anything. Well, that might be a little furry-like, but whatever. That would make me go, oh, this person's like a weirdo or a freakazoid or anything like that. Matter of fact, this looks like somebody giving their opinions. But like I said, how do you give your opinion if you haven't actually watched something? How do you call the creator of something that is not happy with having to censor his own material? How do you call him names like Nazi and Chud?